Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is August 7th of 2021, and it's about 7:30 p.m. here in Fort Worth. This is video number 2 about my new camera. And I've set this, I'm using ManyCam again. Oh, I looked at the last one, and the that I made marked as number 1 here, that I made an hour or two ago. The video and the audio were in sync together. It was 1080p. I had it set for 1080p 30. So I've set this one. I'm using ManyCam. This is at, oh, by the way, because so the last video was 1080 on YouTube. It was 1080 at 60 frames, or 50 frames per second. Now this I've got set on the ManyCam at 60 frames a second, 1080p. So we'll see how that goes. As you can see, I have moved the camera. What I did actually is, over here, I had my Chrome box set up, and I had a monitor and a keyboard and, well, everything. I had it set up here. And I decided, no, that's a better place for the camera. Then on top of the monitor, you see part of my bed and stuff and everything, and I just thought that's the better place. Now I'm going to have to remember to turn to the camera over there, and I think at this point, of course, you know me, I change my mind all the time. I think I'm just going to run this one camera, my new one, this one. This camera, by the way, is working great. It's working great. I like the view. I like the sharpness and all that kind of stuff. And all of these things are adjustable. I'm not sure I can adjust it. Well, I just I have to stop and think about it. I just don't think I can adjust it. At the same time being recording the screen like I'm doing now. So anyway, I like the look of this and the adjustability of it, which you're not really seeing because I haven't gone in there and adjusted. I've done it, but not on camera where you can see it. So this video is 1080, is ManyCam, 1080p, 60 frames a second. I may make it, I'm not going to do it today. I may make a video at 4K and 30 frames a second. I don't think it's necessary for me to, I don't think we need that kind of, but since that's one of the things this does, I'll give it a try. I'm using the same microphone, the Elgato microphone here. Let's see, I think I think at the most it's $20. There is a thing that I can clip on the desk and bring the microphone over, so I can like push it out of the way, but then when I'm making a video I can bring it over and get it up closer, because the closer I get to the microphone, I'm sure the better it's probably going to be, and that's just the way these microphones work. So Anyway, right now the desk is kind of a mess because I took everything off. But this is the keyboard that I was, well, using for the last day or two, which I've had for a while. This is the DAS keyboard. I'll be careful I don't drop it on my leg. It probably break my leg. I'm not sure if that's metal or not. It's so heavy it's got to be metal. And I like it, because it has the the adjustment for the. That's one thing I always want on a keyboard, and that's what I have here. Of course on the. And on this, but the one thing this thing does miss is no lighting for the keys. But another nice feature of this, now this keyboard here has a one pass-through. Or does it? Yes, it does. Yeah, it has one pass-through. And I'm not even sure that that's blue or 3 point or USB 3.0. This one cable, you plug it into USB 3.0, and then you have two outlets on the keyboard that are, and I do like that, so I may switch out later tonight this. I have a light behind. It doesn't have a shade on it. It's behind here, so some light comes through, and that might be enough to satisfy me. I also have that thing that you've seen that goes on top of the, which are pretty nice, and you can adjust it, and and it clicks on there and throws light down there, but I wouldn't want it going all the time while I was, so. Here is, by the way, I'm sure you've all seen, well, here's a Nozomi, I guess that's what it is. A USB keyboard that I've been using on one of the computers. And here, of course, is the Logitech, which a lot of people are using this, and it's it's been out for quite a while. It's a C920E. I think actually I saw on that there's a C920Z as in zebra, but that's it's a nice keyboard. The only problem is all these Logitech keyboards or Logitech webcams, when the virus situation hit and people were working from home and kids were doing their schooling from home and all that, all those prices went skyrocketed for the like the Brio and whatever. I mean, it's just of course Logitech is competing against all these Chinese inexpensive webcams that come in, and I've got the new camera on my nice tripod. I've got several tripods. I've got a bunch. But that's a nice one. It has and I forget if that's the extra head that I bought, but what it lacks is it doesn't have the handle. And I've got a couple inexpensive ones that are not as fluid working and adjustable as all that. And I've used those in the past, and I could just reach here and move it. But this one I don't. I have to move it by by hand. But so I may maybe making some changes to that. I think I think this is it. I'll put a link below to this camera. Now I'm using Windows 11. It's working. What I should have done, and I'm not going to do it now, when I had the Chrome box a few minutes ago hooked up, I should have hooked it up just so some people would know if, you know, it'd work on a Chrome box. I have a feeling it probably would, but I don't think maybe I'm pretty sure their software would not probably be working, or just a limited, you know. So I'm pretty sure this would also work, you know, because I've hooked up all these different webcams, USB webcams, to computers running Linux, and it's always worked. They've always worked. There again, I think the software for making the adjustments might not, until somebody writes some code for it. My arthritis is hurting me, so it's time for me to take my payment. Can't remember her name. Anyway, time for me to take my nighttime medications. Oh, it's naproxen is what it is. It works well for me. I wish that they'd give me something good. I mean something, but the naproxen works good, 500 milligrams. You need a prescription for that. It works good for headaches and migraines. I don't have migraines, but, you know, I really don't have headaches either. I've been really lucky in my life. I think it's probably because I'm lacking brain cells or neurons or something up there. You know, but naproxen works really well, and I forget what the ingredient in it is. But you need a prescription for the 500 milligrams. But you can go into any drugstore legally, and you can buy, it won't say naproxen, it'll say whatever the brand name for the ingredient is, and I think you can get it in 250 milligrams. So you just take 2 to get the, you know, the effect. And it wouldn't surprise me if you probably couldn't get, you know, more than 250, maybe 300 or 400, and then you'd have more power than. I'm not, you know, do what your doctor. I think these are not, you know, not good for your liver. I believe it is, and so really, you know, talk to your doctor. My liver numbers have not come down, but, you know, the numbers have not come down since I was in the hospital for 6 days. And but they were so high when I was in the hospital, and my kids, you know, heard the doctor or the nurse talking. Probably not the doctor, heard the nurse talking and everything. And Hillary then came home, and, you know, was a grown daughter, came home and she was crying, you know, saying that I had liver disease and all that type of stuff. My numbers were really high, and then with each, and it's been a couple years, the high liver numbers have come down. It's still above that top thing, but the next time I see the doctor, and well, I see the doctor about every 6 months. I went longer last time because I didn't want to get out because of the virus. But hopefully the liver numbers will have come down. I think that's it. And I'm not expecting to make another video today. And I've got a bunch of stuff I can't go to bed till I get all that stuff off my bed. and I usually when I think about something like this, I'll probably be installing this keyboard over there, and then I'll see if the little bit of light that's coming in here lights up the keys enough so I can. I'm a touch typist. When I went to high school, De La Salle Military Academy, it was a Christian Brothers school, and before you could, like, for my last year of grade school, everybody had to take a test to see if you wanted to go to, De La Salle Military Academy. You had to take, and if you wanted to go to Rutgers, the Jesuit college, no thanks, not that smart. Well, I went and took the test at De La Salle before, and I was approved to enter. And but I mean, I took the test, and I didn't slack off on the test. I did my best, but I didn't, well, I did my best. I'd like to say I didn't. I did my best, and so there was that would be 4 classes coming in, and 2 of the classes. They got the smart subjects, chemistry and Latin and all this kind of stuff. And then the 2 classes, and I was in one of those 2 classes, were for the the dummies, and we got typing and bookkeeping, and we got general mathematics or something. We even got algebra. But we got algebra, my God. But the others got trigonometry, and all that type of stuff. So, and for our 4th year, and I think all the schools did this. I don't know. I went to Catholic. It was a Catholic high school. So for the senior year, you. Oops, I should be full screen for something like this. I got to remember that. For the last year, Catholic schools were so poor. Our parents had to pay, of course, which they should. They paid taxes for public schools, but my parents had to pay, for the Catholic, for the Catholic school to go there for us. For me, and there was no tax credit or anything given, that was just the way it was. And consequently, now maybe Rockhurst, the Jesuit school run by the Jesuit high school, and they had a college there too, maybe they had enough, but anyway, for the for our senior year, the 2 smart classes, one of them I think went to, forget the name of the place, but they were in Kansas City. It was a factory in Kansas City, Missouri that made parts for nuclear weapons or whatever. The employees who worked there were paid very well and all that type, so they went there. The other class went, I forget, Bendix or someplace, maybe to the TWA repair place at the airport. I don't remember. But they went. My class, we went to the drive-in cleaners place. So they, the Christian Brothers, they sort of had us. Oh, the whole point. The whole point is typing. I learned, I think I was embarrassed to be taking typing. Back then. That was, well, even book, we had to take bookkeeping. I flunked everything. I flunked religion. I didn't know you could flunk religion. I flunked algebra. I went 4 years, the high school. I went summer school 4 years. And algebra, I flunked a course and went to summer school. But the Christian brother that, taught the class, what he did was for the summer, he had his, like, finding the missing, x over z, minus y equals or something rather, and that I liked doing that. After I got tired after a while, but that's all we did, and I found that easy. I guess that's why he did it. Yeah. So would have been nicer being at home for the one of the summers. I actually went to summer school 5 years in a row. My last year of grade school, I think I was the only kid from St. Vincent's grade school that went to summer school because I didn't. It was at Rockhurst High School, and I didn't see any of my classmates from St. Vincent's, and I went there, and the nun, said people who cannot. Oh, I went there for not being able to spell. And the reason I couldn't spell was because I had hearing loss in both ears quite a bit, bad, since I had that happen in the first grade when it hit me. And my parents never sent me to have my hearing checked or anything like that. And I can remember, I don't know what grade it was, whenever they teach it, and they probably teach it a different way now. I can remember sitting in the class at Holy Name Grade School, and the teacher was, saying a word and sounding it out and all that kind of stuff, and I was sitting there like, what's going on? And after a while, I guess after a few days or a week or whatever, I just did something else because it didn't make any sense, but I couldn't hear, the difference on that. But when I was sent from grade school to for summer school, the nun said, you can't spell. The reason you can't spell is you don't read. If you read, you'll be able to spell. And of course I'm sitting there thinking, well, I didn't think about the hearing thing at all. I totally, and my parents too, never, they got notes sent home 2 different years from grade school when a hearing test was done, and my parents never. But when I, graduated from high school and everything, and was working, and I had health insurance and everything, I never had my hearing checked or anything. So I can't blame my parents. But anyway, when this nun says, if you can't spell because you can't read. If you read, you'll be a good speller. And I thought, I don't have any trouble reading. I didn't say anything, I don't have any trouble reading because I was reading everything. I wasn't reading my school books, but I was ordering in publications from the government printing office. There wasn't any World Wide Web. There wasn't any. It wasn't even any internet. And I ordered. Every week I was getting packets of. A lot of them were field manuals, military field manuals. Survival in the Arctic, survival in the tropics, and all this. Patrol techniques and formations. I was reading all that stuff. And I didn't have any trouble. I have never had any trouble reading or understanding what I read. And so, anyway, sun's going down, and I do have one lamp. I have this little lamp back here going, and then there's a small lamp sitting on top of my refrigerator, which has one thing in it. Guess what my refrigerator has in it? You'll never guess what's in my refrigerator. Actually, there was something else in there. There's a little jar of olives in the bottom and a little jar of hot pickles in the bottom. But everything else is filled with Coke Zero. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.